Hi, everyone. Welcome to the fifth episode of the Parade Planners podcast. Um, I wanted to start out this episode by giving a shout out to our first commenter on YouTube, Joe R. Talking about he was talking about how fantastic Justin Hall has been playing, and like we all can't agree more. Like especially like last night's game, Justin Hall has been playing at a whole nother level. He's been one of the key things that the Leafs have been missing. So, thanks, Joe, for commenting, of course. I also wanted to introduce Michael. Michael's from our fantasy hockey league, and he's also an Ottawa fan, which is kind of gross, but it's okay. We still like him. Michael, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yep, hi. So I'm Michael. I've been probably a Sens fan since early 2000 something. I'm not exactly sure which one. So despite the fact that I live in Toronto, I am a Sens fan. So unfortunate to the rest of the guys. So I'm on board to basically get roasted for an hour. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. We brought you here to just make fun of you, so as long as you're ready for that. We'll get to
The
that later though. Did you guys all watch the Super Bowl on Sunday? Also, yo, just Karn Harmon, Dunnigan, he's not here today, but I told you guys that Tom Brady was gonna win, and you guys doubted me. What do you guys think?
Now I know to never bet against the GOAT. I betted him against it 2 times and he proved me wrong 2 times. Never bet against him.
The goal was just too clutch, man. I don't know in the Super Bowl, like he shut down Mahomes. Like the whole team was just performing at like a whole different level, and Mahomes couldn't catch a break. So I mean, congrats to Brady on getting his seventh ring, right? Yeah. Uh, that's about it.
What did you guys think of the weekend halftime show? Was it okay? Was it good? Was it bad? What do you guys think of it?
I'm kind of curious what he spent. He spent something like 7 million of his own money into that show. I'm kind of curious where it all went.
Yeah, like it was a pretty good halftime show. Like I enjoyed it, but like considering he spent his own money in it, it seems like it should have been a little bit better. But like I'm not complaining. I like the weekend. It was pretty good. The only thing I wish is though, like I've always been a big fan of like Trilogy Weekend, like his old music. I think we had like a little bit of House of Balloons in there's like a 30-second part where they were singing House of Balloons, but I kind of wish he had some of his older music. But I get it, like he has to play his popular songs for the wider audience, right?
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, overall, like he sang pretty well. It was a good show. Like I'm not complaining about like the quality. It was really well done, and he looked pretty happy about it too. So overall, I thought it was pretty good.
But yeah, back to that game. Honestly, like as much as Tom Brady played like fantastic on offense, like he had a lot of tools to help him. He had Gronk and all those guys to help him out. It was Tampa Bay's defense for me that was unreal. Like they guarded Tyreek Hill, and the way that their off or defensive linesmen got straight to Mahomes and put so much pressure on him was like amazing. Like I swear to God, Mahomes was he had to throw the ball moving every single time, and like from watching a lot of like the Chiefs pass games, like especially like the game like 2 weeks ago, um, like Mahomes was so steady and he had so much time to throw the ball, but this game like he had no time at all. Like how many times did he have to just chuck it out of bounds so he didn't get sacked?
But the thing is, I'm not gonna say this is an excuse or something, but it was their backup line. It wasn't the starting line. The starting offensive line was injured. I think most of it was injured. That's what they're saying in the pregame. So I wasn't sure, or the other people are saying the offensive line was injured.
Yeah, there's at least two injuries, I think. So, I mean, you had Tampa capitalize very heavily on that too. Like, I don't know if you guys saw the stat, but Mahomes ran 497 yards before having to throw the ball, just by like having to run around behind the line of scrimmage, and like that's an insane number. That's more than their offense. Literally ran backwards more than they ran forwards.
That's a crazy stat. I didn't know that, but like makes
And I
sense
also,
considering like how the game went. Sorry, go ahead, Harmon.
yeah, and I also think like 2 games before when they're versing Buffalo, Mahomes got concussion, right? I think it was mild, but that could have had an impact too on his game. I feel like that was a big factor that like that kind of like messed up with his game plan. But overall, they just got shut down. Like there was no way for Mahomes to like perform at his peak level. So overall, Brady just went ham,
Never
He
dealt the
also
goat,
had,
man.
I think he also had turf toe. I don't know if it's toe turf or toe turf or toe turf. Sorry. He had that as well. I think he's getting surgery for that. He's gonna be out like several months with that injury too.
Yeah, overall, I mean, to be fair though, even the passes that he was throwing as he was being tackled to the ground didn't look like he was having too many problems from that regard, to be honest, because he nailed every player he was aiming for.
Yeah, like I kind of wanted Tom Brady to retire because like I feel like getting your seventh ring is like the perfect way to like end a career and end your legacy. But the one thing I'm excited for is the possibility of a rematch between Tampa Bay and the Chiefs again. I think if they rematch again next year, that's going to be like one heck of a game to watch. But we'll see. Anyways, we are an NHL podcast, so we should probably get into some hockey and, of course, some Leafs. What do you guys think of the last few games, the last couple Vancouver games, the Montreal game, the record now 11-2-1, playing out of their minds, guys. What do you guys think?
Mike, what do you wanna go since you're the guest host?
Sure. I mean, I'll be completely honest. I didn't watch a whole lot of any of the games. But like overall, like I know some of you guys have commented on this recently too, is that Toronto's kind of found a fair bit of like I guess you could say like grit, toughness in their play, and they're incorporating it a lot. So like they're maintaining their offensive level that they're expected to while maintaining and like keeping up, I guess, and hitting. And well, I mean, you have Simmons now too, who's contributing a lot to that. But like I feel like overall they're finding what they're having problems with, and then they're fixing it now. Because I mean, you guys know my complaints about the Leafs past couple of years is they're not physical enough, and that costs them in playoffs. So it looks like they're finally finding something there, and they're elevating it. So they're looking pretty good, which isn't great for the upcoming week.
Yeah, that series against Ottawa is going to be rough. But like to focus on that hitting thing, like I saw this stat that Matthews is hitting like is having like 4 hits a game now or something, which is ridiculous. Like even last night he had some big hits against Sherrod, even Weber. So it's nice to see even like once that star player on your team starts throwing the body around, like it trickles out throughout the lineup, right? Because like your star players are the core of your team, and that's how your team functions around them. So if we see like Matt, even like Marner playing a little bit chippier, like I think there's this one play where like it was funny. I saw it on Twitter. Everyone's like, "Oh, Josh Anderson is like such a tough guy," and then there's this play where he went to go hit Marner, and Marner just flipped him over him. So I love to see it, and I think that's a huge factor to why they're killing it now.
I feel like with those tough guys, like not the tough guys, but those grittier guys, they feel more comfortable hitting. So like if Simmons is out there and Bogosian's out there, or like even Thorn's out there, they feel more comfortable hitting because they know they have backup. Unlike last season where like CC Berry, like they're not tough enough to go handle guys like Josh Anderson or guys like Zach Cassian. So I feel like it's more comfortable hitting.
Yeah, the Leafs definitely improved on that stat, like hitting more. And Jaskin's right there. Like we never had that last season where like our players wouldn't even stand up for themselves. Now we have at least Simmons, Bogosian to stand up for players like Matthews and Marner, but they're obviously doing their part as well. They're hitting more, getting more hits in as well. So I feel like this team definitely got more aggressive, which is a factor not not only going to be like a big factor in the regular season, but also in the playoffs when it's a whole different beast. And I feel like it's a great addition, and it will help them in the long run.
Yeah, like these guys are still kids, right? So it's nice to see them developing their game at this time in their careers. Like Matthews and Marner are like literally my age. They're 23 years old. So like to see these 23-year-olds go through such drastic changes only means that like once they do start hitting their prime, they're going to be even better on a whole nother level. So it's great to see that the team's evolving, team's getting better. I think Sheldon Keefe has a big play in it. Like we've talked about this in so many episodes now. I don't want to keep saying the same things, but these guys did not want to play for Babcock. they want to play for Keith and they look like they're committed. I quickly want to move on to some penalty talk, man. Like these penalties are getting ridiculous against the Leafs. Like they're not calling so many dirty plays. There was that, I think it was from the Vancouver series where like Kerfoot literally got boarded. Like somebody hit him in the numbers and he went straight into the boards, and the ref was watching the play, did not even blink an eye. And then even from last night, I can think of three stupid calls. Like there was the whole thing with Weber on just John Tavares. He literally high sticked him and then elbowed him in the head in front of a ref. He's bleeding. He had to leave the game for like 5 minutes on concussion protocol, and the refs don't give a shit. There's that hit on Perry, or Perry hit Hall along the boards. That could have been a boarding call. And then it was at the end of the second where Hyman got tripped. He literally, the stick was between his legs and he fell over, and the refs decided to give Hyman an embellishment call to make it 4-4. Like, what is this bullshit, man? Like, what do you guys think about these penalty calls? Like, Michael, like, let me throw it to you. Like, has there been any bullshit calls in the Ottawa games? Because like, it's getting kind of ridiculous.
I'll be honest, I haven't seen a whole lot of Ottawa games either because they're restricted viewing. So so I actually haven't seen a whole lot in general, but I think like your complaints are definitely echoed, I think, across like online communities and people I talk to about hockey, because like calls have been so inconsistent over the course of the season. The main one that I can think about, I don't know if anyone saw it, it was McDavid like breaking around the right side of the rink, goes in on the goalie, gets tripped as he goes in, so he crashes into, I don't even remember what the game was, I think it was last week. And then he got called for goaltender interference. I was like, that that's not how it works. But the officiating in general has just been so like kind of out of it. So I don't know if how that's gonna continue over the course of the season, and then if we go into playoffs, like can you imagine losing games like because one of your players gets boarded, he's out, and there's no penalty for it with like a minute to go in the third or something in a tie game?
So with what Michael said, it's been all over the league. It's not even like it's been with the Leafs, it's been with Columbus and the Hurricanes. We'll discuss that later on, but with what that happened with also with McDavid, Tanev tripped him and he goes into Markstrom or whoever was Riddich, and there's no penalty call. I think it's been all over the league like that, but the Leafs have been it's been like this for a long time. I remember reading a stat that it's been over a decade since a suspension happened, like a play against the league, which is absolutely insane because there's been like a lot of dirty plays against them. Um, I think the league-wide reputation of them being a quote-unquote weak team, but which kind of factors into what's happening with the roughing and stuff like that. So hopefully the NHL can get that fixed sooner rather than later.
I
Like,
mean, oh,
sorry, go
sorry,
ahead,
go
go
ahead.
ahead. No,
I
no,
was
go
gonna
ahead, go
say
ahead.
like the NHL's like even just organization on the NHL front, because there was that game last week where they had three linesmen and one ref because the NHL screwed up. So it's like maybe the refs are also getting tired of just like disorganization, whatever the hell's going on. Because I think it was a Bruins game or something where, yeah, they just didn't have two referees at the game. It's like, did they not have backups either? Like, I don't know how it works with COVID protocol, but like you'd think they would have at least one backup referee there, but no, they ran the game with three linesmen, and I don't really understand why that's the case.
Like I know for the North Division, like, they have their set referees that are going to be refereeing like the North Division because they don't want like cross border travel and stuff. So I wonder if like for example that Boston game, it's because like for the Atlantic Division they have a set number of referees and they just ran out of referees. They had to throw some linesmen on. But like I think that really is detrimental because having the same referees over and over could factor in like with bias and stuff like that. But one thing I wanted to say is like I've noticed some of these calls have been to make the game fair, quote unquote, or like they'll call a penalty to like make up for a bad missed call before, or like for example that embellishment call. To me, it seemed like they wanted to give Hyman the embellishment call to make it fair so the Leafs didn't have a penalty or power play to start the third period. Like I've noticed that a lot. Maybe that's just me. And I've also only been watching Leafs games. I haven't really caught many other games, mostly just the Leafs. But like it seems to me like for both teams, the Leafs and whoever they're versing, it's a lot of plays to make the game fair and to make the game more competitive.
I think it was one of the Edmonton games where I think Kerfoot got that slashing penalty. Remember that? Remember the phantom slashing penalty where he just tapped the stick of Larson and he just got a penalty for no reason, just for tapping him.
Yeah, man.
Um, that even up call was that thing going quote unquote over the board. It went over the board but landed into the bench, but they still called it a penalty to get an even up call. But I don't. It doesn't make sense because it shouldn't be an even up call or something along those lines. Because you call a penalty for what it is, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
I feel like the management needs to like go over these like these penalties. And, like I don't know why they're getting called. So like maybe they need to like reassure and talk, sit down and talk with these refs and go over like why is this being called and stuff. But who knows if they even really care, right? What if they're just lazy and they they just want to call like dumb penalties?
I'm curious about that because I know refs. So like refs get graded on a system. I think at the end of every year. I'm not sure how like public knowledge that is, but they basically get assessed. That's the way it was working for the bubble playoffs as well. Was like at the end of every round they would assess the refs, and then like the best graded ones continue on, and the rest go home, something like that. So I don't know like if that should be a factor into how they're making calls, but I mean with the inconsistencies that we're seeing, maybe not, or maybe they're just think like it's a different system this year. I don't know.
All right, well, enough of this depressing penalty talk. I'm sure as the season goes on, like the league will fix it. We'll see how it goes. Um, I wanted to talk about that winger, like the Elliot Friedman tweet where he said he knows the Leafs are going for a winger. I saw a lot of stuff over the internet. People are theorizing like it could be some like minor wingers, but I feel like the fact that he's not listing names means that it could be a big name, and it's curious because like the Leafs, if the Leafs can get a crazy winger to play on like either the Tavares line or the top like the Matthews line, like I can't imagine how much better they can get with that. And like for me, my thought is though it has to be a sort of power forward because there's already so much skill throughout the lineup. I don't think they need another skilled goal scorer. They have goal scoring all throughout. My thinking is it has to be a power forward that's coming into the lineup. What do you guys think about that rumor? Well, I don't even know if it's a rumor. It seems like it's almost confirmed according to Elliot Friedman. But yeah, what do you guys think?
I think he mentioned
Yeah,
a top six forward, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it could
somebody to
be
play with the top two lines.
yeah, so it could be like yeah, I think you're right. I think it could be like a power forward who's gonna provide, like who can add on more of that grittiness to what we already have, and someone who's gonna support maybe the Tavares line because I think Hyman is playing very well on the first line. I don't think they're gonna change that. So I think they're trying to find somebody who can play on the second line.
yeah. Sorry, with what Adam, I mean, sorry, not Adam, no, with what Barra said, I think it's gonna be a top six power forward. Um, few candidates that I believe they should go after. Ricard Raquel, if he's available. Surprisingly, what I've seen with what on Twitter after what Detroit have done with Anthony Manta, I feel like he wants to maybe get out of Detroit maybe because he's been healthy scratched for no reason and that team is horrible. Um, Tanner Pearson out of Vancouver. That's another target I've been seeing all over Twitter with what I've seen. Yeah, but the other top three candidates for me, and also weirdly enough, Jonathan Huberdeau, which I don't think it's a target, but just an interesting fact. He's leading the team in scoring, but he has the fifth highest time on ice, which is weird. So people are saying watch out for him as a target of teams.
Man, if it's Jonathan Huberdeau, that's gonna be a really big addition. Like that's gonna be like it's gonna be sick, especially seeing them on the power play as well. Like, yo, that's crazy.
Costs a lot to get him though. We'll see. Like my thing is like who are they gonna trade? It has to be like a package of like Dermott and like a prospect or something to get somebody that skilled. So we'll see. Might just be smoke as well. Like might just be Dubas using Friedman to create more like trade rumors, create more value for the Leafs prospects to like get people to want to trade with the Leafs. So you never know. That's how these media guys work. We have a new segment. Nadim actually came up with this. Right now, Nadim's having some technical difficulties. He might join us throughout the podcast. Hopefully, he'll be back soon. But he he came up with this idea. We're gonna start this segment called "Reasons to Plan the Parade." We are the Parade Planners podcast after all. So for the reasons to plan the parade, just what we thought about the Leafs in the last week that really shows us why they're on this winning path. So for me, my reason is the ability for them to hold on to a lead and kind of create sparks in the game. You look at the Vancouver series. They dominated the first two games, but the last two games, the third game against Vancouver, the last game against Montreal, um, one thing they've done in those two games that really surprised me is they had really slow starts. They kind of started to pick it up in the second period, and in the third period, they created a spark and they created offense out of nowhere. Versus like when we look at previous Leafs teams, if they started flat-footed, they stayed flat-footed throughout the whole game, right? But these two games, they found a spark late in the third, middle of the third, early the third. The whole point is in the third period, they found a spark to kind of like create offense, create momentum, create energy out of nowhere, and I think that's a really big key for me, and that's my reason to plan the parade. Um, Michael, I'll hand it off to you. You haven't obviously been watching too much Leafs, but do you have any reasons to plan the parade for the Leafs, even though I know you don't want that?
I mean, it's not like I'm planning an Ottawa parade this year, so we have that. I mean, Toronto, I'm pretty sure they're basically leading stats across the league for a whole whack of things. I'm not entirely sure how correct that is, but they have one of the best records in the league, probably some of the best offensive in the league. I mean, given, well, I guess Pasternak's back, so Boston's first line's back together, but like the Maple Leafs front six is probably one of the best top six, I'd probably say, in the league right now. So you guys have that going for you. It's looking pretty good. I mean, especially if like the trade rumors are true and you get another power forward to slot in that second line. I just don't know how you can afford it. Um, but overall, I mean, from what I've seen of the Leafs, it's been pretty dominant overall, even with like the lack of calls, penalties, whatever that things have been going on. But they're looking good, which is a concern for me. But realistically, like you're shooting well, you're scoring, everyone's finding the back of the net at this point. So I mean, it's looking pretty good for chances at a parade, honestly.
Hopefully, man. Hopefully, if there is a parade, COVID's done by then, so we can all go. All right, just going. What's your reason to plan the parade?
For me, just like previous episodes, I said they're finding ways to win. It's not they're giving up. Like the first period of the Montreal game, they're flat footed. They came up flat footed, but second period they got their like what you were saying in the group chat. They got their engine starting to go, and I kept on moving their feet. They played well in the second half, the second period, and the third period where they just took possession and just kept possessing the puck. I like that. Yeah, they're just finding ways to win. That's all I'm gonna say at this point. Cause you never know about the Leafs. They could fall off the cliff. Hopefully not, but we'll have to. Like I'm just saying, like hopefully they just stick to what they're doing right now. Um, I like with me. I think of the coaching change that really like sparked what they needed. Like I'll watch. I seen the blueprint. The Leafs what they put on YouTube and like Instagram and Twitter. I seen a clip of it and Keith was like, I'm not satisfied with what you guys are doing, even though they were like 8-2-1. Sorry, was it 8-2-1 the last thing? I'm not sure what they were after that Edmonton game. I'm not even sure, but it was after one of the games. He's like, I'm not satisfied because every metric is going down. So we gotta keep on improving. We gotta keep on doing this. Like with Coach the big, I'm satisfied. We're winning. Like just keep it this way. But with Keith, he's keep on banging the drum. Get better every single day. Like that's why I feel like the guys keep on going. The guys keep on skating, getting better every single day.
No man, Keith's been a phenomenal coach. Like he's really made a difference on this group. I think he's gonna be a big reason for the Leafs' success in the future. Harmon, what do you think? What's your reason?
I have two reasons. So the first reason is special teams. So like I feel like obviously I think we're leading in like the power play points. I think as a team, maybe top two. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, if we keep that going, and we carry that on throughout the season, and we stay dominant in that stat, I feel like that could be a reason to plan the parade because if they carry that on to the playoffs as well, uh, we can score goals, even get some secondary scoring. That'd be great for the Leafs as well. And the penalty kill has been very great, especially Ilya Mikheyev, one of the most underrated penalty killers in the league, and he just got his first goal last game. So if he can stay dominant on that penalty kill as well, that'll be a great factor for the Leafs going throughout the season. And I also feel like the second reason is our physical and aggressive play in these games. If we keep that up, and if the star players keep that up, it'll be very, very great for the Leafs because that's what they need. And as Thornton comes back, and if we acquire a top six power forward winger, that's gonna add to the grit, add to the greediness as well. So that'll be a great factor for the Leafs, and that's another reason to plan the parade.
Awesome, man. Hopefully we get more and more reasons as the season goes on. All right, well, we do have a guest, Michael, so we probably should stop talking about the Leafs. We'll switch it over to Ottawa. We'll get some roasting going. We'll get some praise going. I think there's a lot of reasons to praise Ottawa. I'm excited for them to become a good team, so we can kind of spark that rivalry we had in the early 2000s. Like I remember when I started becoming a Leafs fan, like it was like the Ottawa versus Toronto series that really got me into it. There's so much heat, so much competitiveness. That's what I'm really looking forward to. Michael, what's been going on with Ottawa this season? Let us know.
So, so despite like what a 2-11-1 record or something like minus 27 goal differential, I'm not
Oh boy.
really concerned because this was basically how we expected the season to turn out. I mean, we have like a really good pool of prospects. Like Stutzel's getting play time, even though he's been moved down to third line, I think, as of like earlier this week. But overall, Ottawa's kind of shown promise. I mean, they are getting smoked across the board in basically every category, and we can't really blame them for it. Although I was hoping Murray would do a bit better in that. But like they're a young group. Your first line is I think the youngest in the league. So overall, like they're still producing. They're still like they're hitting. Kachuk is way up there. I think in like the league average overall. He's doing quite well in terms of hitting as well on top of scoring. But the prospects are looking good. I know Brandstrom's still out, and there's something about DJ Smith didn't really want to work with him or something like that. So I'm not sure how that's going to turn out, which will suck because he was the corner piece of that Stone trade. So as much as I'm still upset about Stone getting traded off, he could have been your captain now in Ottawa, leading this entire group. But it happened. It's in the past. Whatever. I got to deal with that now. But overall, Ottawa's shown decent play. They just can't maintain it for an entire game, it looks like, because they've shown pretty good promise in, say, the first two periods, and then everything just collapses in the third. But they've kept their shot counts up relatively well. They've got good chances on the net, and they've overall not played that badly. They're just getting smoked across the board. And I mean, this was expected. This was what we thought was going to happen this season, especially in the North Division. The only hope I had was against Vancouver, and then we lost 7-3. So I was like, all right, well, that's that. We're not getting anything out of that either. But I mean, Canadian was going to be competitive. I didn't expect Ottawa to do well. This is basically going as planned. But I mean, wait a couple years, and we'll probably look pretty good. Give us like 2023.
Oh, that's a long time away, man. That's a long time away. But to be honest, like I really, really like Ottawa's young players. Like Stutzel, Kachuk, even like Drake Batherson, and then they got Thomas Chabot's an absolute horse. Like I know we're gonna talk a little bit about like the Canadian Olympic roster later, but in my opinion, Thomas Chabot should be on the Olympic defenseman like roster. He's been amazing. The Ottawa is actually the only team to not to like have a not or like the only team that's not having a losing record against the Leafs so far. Of course, we know that's going to change next week. 3 straight games against the Leafs is going to be rough, but I like what Ottawa has in terms of their prospect. You said Brandstrom's having some trouble, which is unfortunate to hear because him and Chabot would have been amazing on your decor, but like you guys still have Josh Norris. Even Sanderson just got drafted last year. I heard he's supposed to be good. He looked good in the Olympics. The only thing that looks like is missing for Ottawa is like a centerman because it seems like you guys got a lot of wingers. So hopefully you can solve that problem. But man, I want Ottawa to get better. I love the games. Ottawa always steps it up. No matter how shit they are, they always bring their A game against the Leafs. I think next week's series is gonna be a lot of fun. It's gonna be a lot of fun hockey. There was a lot of grittiness in those first couple games of the season against the Leafs. So hopefully some of that comes back. But we know it's gonna be a 3-0 sweep for sure, man.
I just don't want it to be like an 8-2. That's basically all I ask for this week is like at least keep it close. If we lose 3-1, like 4-1, I'll accept it. As long as it's relatively close and like honestly, as long as we're not dominated by Toronto, I'm not going to complain because that's based on the way the season's going. That's what's looking like is coming. So if we lose by like less than 2 goals on average, I'll be happy. That's an if.
Michael, I have a question for you. I hear fans are getting really upset at DJ Smith for not adjusting guys like Galchenyuk and like those. I heard Bats are gonna get scratched too soon, but like, what's your thoughts on that? Like not adjusting Galchenyuk even though I heard he been playing really well.
So I've kind of been wondering about that too, to be honest, because I mean we traded for Galchenyuk. He came in, he's been a decent player, and then he didn't make the roster for the first half of the season. He's I think 4th line right now, starting on the left wing with Norris and Watson. Never heard of Watson really before. So I'm kind of surprised they're really just not giving him the time. I'm kind of curious if that's just an intended situation of trying to get your younger kids more playtime in a season that's probably over already. But yeah, Batherson getting scratched, that would surprise me quite a bit if that does happen. I don't really see a reason for that to happen, given that he's played pretty decently. But again, I mean, they might be making calls that I'm not too aware of. And then the Brandstrom situation, I hope that just gets resolved because he was your 15th overall pick by Vegas. He's supposed to be good. And yeah, that would really help your defensive core too. So I'm not too sure how it is. I mean, DJ Smith coming in was supposed to be a big change. It started out okay, but I mean, we'll have to see as the season goes on.
Do you think he got part of the Babcock genes in him too?
Not too sure about that actually. I mean, we'll probably have to wait and see. I'm not too sure about that one.
Yeah, Ottawa has a bright future, especially with their young core. Stutzel, Kachuk, Josh Norris, Brandstrom, and they got Thomas Chabot. So I feel like the Battle of Ontario is only going to get feistier and it's going to get better over time as Ottawa improves. And yeah, I don't know, signing Matt Murray and then like not having him do well, like like at least winning you a couple games. I feel like that's kind of an L that they took because like
That,
they signed him to a big contract and then they paid him.
yeah, it's definitely big disappointment I think for me because I mean he was the reason why Pittsburgh moved away from Fleury, right? He was supposed to be your next big goalie, and then they trade him to Ottawa, and I was like, don't really like this decision because you have a growing core. You're kind of, I guess, wasting part of Murray's prime in Ottawa and the fact that this is a team that's still growing. So by the time that they're mature, you're hoping he's still doing well. But I mean, he shows up. He's got like a 2-7 record or something like that. I'm not sure because Hogbird's played a few games too and lost them all. So yeah, I was hoping I'd see a lot more out of Matt Murray than what we're seeing right now.
And their contract seems to be getting like worse and worse by the game because I think he signed like a 4 year, $20 million contract or like a $25 million contract. I think a 6 million AAV, which is kind of weird because Markstrom got that. Markstrom's like one of the league goaltenders of the league, so hopefully Matt Murray can turn his career around in Ottawa because he was struggling with Pittsburgh as well before he got traded, and Jari took his spot too. So hopefully he can get his play back to normal.
To be fair, I don't think he has to worry about Hogberg taking a starting spot anytime soon.
Yeah, that
Is
last
he
game he
that
played
bad?
was no, that last game he played was horrible against Edmonton. Whew, I've seen better performance than that. That was bad.
Like, he's not the worst. He's still good enough to be a backup goaltender, but like, Hogberg's got a way to go. Although, to be fair, with Matt Murray going backwards, then maybe the gap's not as big.
But like, I feel like another reason Matt Murray is probably not producing is because like the play in front of him is probably complete trash. Like, I don't think like Ottawa's giving Matt Murray a fighting chance.
No, I definitely agree. I mean, they're still a learning group and stuff like that. It's more just, I think, like the Edmonton game that was like 5-3, 5-2 or something after the first period. I think Murray gave up 5 goals on some 15 shots, something like that. It's like, even if it's not even a shot volume thing, it's literally just maybe they're giving up decent scoring chances. I didn't see most of that game. But I mean, it depends on quality, but giving up 5 goals on some 15, that just can't happen.
I know Matt Murray's
I got
having nightmares about Austin Matthews right now.
It's coming.
I gotta give props to Pierre Dorian. I gotta give props to him for that Eric Carlson trade, even though it's been like 2 years. We all thought they lost that trade, but the high key actually won that trade like big time. Since Carlson got on San Jose, he's like falling off a cliff, like a huge cliff, like he's falling off of. While while Ottawa got back Chris Tierney, who's been I think from my he's been a good depth option. They got Stutzla, who's been well, I think he's been good. And underrated Josh Norris, he's been one of the best, I think, prospects that's been like contributing to the Sens. Let's say point total, because not success, because they haven't had much success this season. But he's been underrated, going under the radar, good. What I feel like.
Yeah, like it was such a disappointing trade what had happened, but I mean, down the line, like it's like Carlson never really um like recovered, I guess, from the what it was like a broken foot, broken ankle or something from the 2017 playoffs, and then just never really got it back after that. So I mean, it gave us a whole pool of prospects to work with, and it's contributed pretty heavily to the rebuild that's coming. So in the next few years, I mean, we're hoping all these guys mature. The nightmare scenario for me is if they all hit their 3 year like rookie deals, they're up, and then they all leave because we can't pay them. So we got to pray for once that we can actually pay guys.
Hopefully, Eugene Melnick doesn't drive them out. All right, guys. Michael has to go. He has somewhere else to be. But thanks so much for joining us, man. It was great to have you on. You're welcome on this podcast whenever you want, man. Like whenever there's Ottawa games, even if there's no Ottawa games, just let us know. You can come back whenever. It was great to have you. Do you have any final thoughts before you go?
No, I really appreciate it. Thanks for the invite, for bringing me on. I mean, you guys didn't even roast me as hard as I was expecting, but maybe that's because Nadim is unable to talk. So,
It's also because we haven't played Ottawa yet. If you came after those Ottawa games, it might have been a little bit worse.
no, well, maybe I'll be back in a week and then maybe I'll be upset, but we'll see about that. I mean, we'll see how these games go. Like the only team not with an even record against the Leafs, that's probably not going to last that long. I think everybody knows it. But anyways, thanks for having me. I'll take care, guys, and good luck with the rest of the podcast.
Yeah, thanks. See you, man. Yeah, maybe we should have gone a little bit harder on him, but it's okay. So let's move on
Yeah,
to
don't
some.
worry. After the maybe after the Ottawa games, if he comes back to the podcast, we can roast him then.
Yeah, yeah, we definitely will. It's just because it's been so long since we played Ottawa. Like, watch after next week after they go 3-0, they get those 6 points against them. It'll be a different story. Let's move on to some NHL news now. We talked about the Leafs in Ottawa for a while. We're getting pretty deep into this podcast. So
I'll
Berkey
tell you
leaves
about.
Sportsnet to join Pittsburgh. I'm shocked. I love Burke on Sportsnet. His personality was great. It was exactly what Sportsnet needed to, spice it up a bit. But good for him for landing another job in the NHL. I wonder how he's gonna do on Pittsburgh. I'm really interested to see him and Hextall if they can really turn around Pittsburgh, get them back to a competitive shape. Because looking at Pittsburgh's lineup right now, it's kind of like a skeleton to me. It has like a nice core, of course, like Crosby, Malkin, you can never go wrong, but they seem weak around it. So let's see what they can do. What do you guys think? Do you guys think Burke's gonna make a big difference for Pittsburgh? Maybe
With
bring
Burke,
back Bill Kessel.
with Burke, I feel like he's more of a stubborn guy. Hopefully he can just do what analytics are and everything, but hopefully, like I don't know, like with Toronto, he wanted to bring a win now mentality, which is what we didn't need at the time. With with Pittsburgh, he might need that because of the aging core with the Tang, Malkin, and Crosby. With they need to build around him. I was listening to the build around, sorry, they're listening to the interview with Sportsnet. I think it's Christine Simpson on Sportsnet. He's like, I need more tougher players in the team, which I think is kind of old school mentality. Like he wants to acquire Ryan Reeves or like someone like Sam Bennett to play on the third line. With it doesn't work out anymore like that. You need guys who can score. You need guys who can like. I understand the grip part, but you need guys who can score, right? Essentially, so hopefully he can like prosper into what he was beforehand.
Yeah, I feel like he's in a I don't know, like Jasper said, if he has that old school mentality and he doesn't adjust to the game today how it is, like where you need speed and you need skill, but if he just thinks that I'm just gonna bring in like players who are gritty and who are just gonna like get me hits and blocks and stuff and not score, I mean that's just gonna be a setup for failure. But if he adjusts now and he adds like a JVR who can probably do like all that stuff, which he did with Toronto, like I feel like that could be a better route. Only time will tell what will happen, but yeah, I think he needs to adjust to the game today, how it is and how it's being played.
Yeah, man. Like I'm excited. I think he'll be really good. I just hope he does. Oh, I muted myself. Sorry. I was saying. Yeah. I hope he doesn't end up like how Lamorello ended up now. Like how he's kind of like losing his touch. But at least it's him and Hextall. You got two great former GMs that can bounce ideas off each other. I want Pittsburgh to do well, man. Like Crosby's been amazing. He's had an amazing career. He's also had an unfortunate career with those like concussions taking time out of his prime. So if they can be at least competitive again, it would be nice to see. I don't want Crosby's career to end like this. You know what I mean? Like he's too good of a player to have a shitty team around him. So for Crosby's sake and even Malkin's sake, I hope that they can become competitive again. We'll see what they do. I think they really need some defensemen to help them out because like other than Chris Letang and there's that one other young defenseman. Sorry, I'm blanking on his name, but Marino, I think was his name. But yeah, they got two good defensemen there. If they can get some other good defensemen, maybe some depth options. It can be a good team again. So we'll see.
Um,
Talking about
sorry,
penalty calls. Sorry, go ahead.
sorry. With what I'm hearing, Hacksaw, like Dave Hacksaw. Wait, Dave Hacksaw. Sorry, Ron Hacksaw. Sorry, I got mixed in between with the Leafs
That's the
assistant
Leafs
coach.
assistant coach.
Yeah, sorry, Ron Hacksaw. Sorry. He ended like with him. He practices patience. You want patience with with was very he practiced patience. Like he was patient with the roster. And look now, he got Carter Hart. He's the one who dropped to Carter Hart.
Yeah, let's see. I don't know if patience will work because it's not like Crosby and Malkin are getting any younger. So we'll see how it goes. It's exciting to see. I do, like I said before, I'm gonna miss Burke on Sportsnet. Uh, last night, I don't know if you guys caught it, like during one of the intermissions, Elliot Friedman and all those guys, they were making fun of Burke, like imitating him. He was great on Sportsnet. Maybe he'll come back after his career in Pittsburgh, but we'll see. Hopefully, it all works out. We talked about penalties before. Let's talk about probably one of the stupidest things I've seen in the NHL in so long. That Columbus Carolina offside thing. What a disaster, man! Like, how did they come to that conclusion with all the possible opportunities they had? Like, it was embarrassing. It was idiotic. I can't believe that happened. What are your guys' thoughts on it?
And so what the essentially the story is that is what to summarize what Bob is saying is that what happened was what happened was that there was a trainee. Essentially, there's a trainee on the job. I think he was a video analyst, not analyst. Sorry. It's something to do with video. Like he just did the video programming and stuff like that. So he would essentially give the thing. He would essentially give the video to the iPad they have. So so essentially what happened was that he ended up saying, so what happened was that someone went offside. I think Tivo Terry went offside on that goal, and so Toyota challenged it. Toyota challenged it, and it came to a review, and they said that, oh, it was a good goal. Someone in the mic said it was, oh, it's a good goal, right? And what happened was that when they went, so they went back to so at the end of the period, so they get assessed the minor every time. I'm all over the place. I'm sorry, but they get assessed the minor every time. Every time they get a challenge wrong and it leads to a goal, right? So every time that happens, they get a penalty. So they were assessed the minor, and when they came back for the period, the minor was wiped off. Because during the intermission, the refs went to the Blue Jacket dressing room and said, "We're sorry, we made the wrong call. It was no goal, right?" And they essentially wiped the penalty off the clock, which is absolutely dumb. Why can't you guys do it afterwards instead of wiping? Because this has never happened before. There's no precedent that says you can wipe a penalty off the clock. It's just so idiotic, like Barbara said. So dumb. Like there's no, like, if you get it wrong, you get it wrong. You're a human being. What are you supposed to? You're not a robot.
I just can't believe it, man. The worst part is like they lost by one goal. Like that call literally lost Columbus a game. Can you imagine like Columbus misses the playoffs by like 1 or 2 points because and like that can go back to this game and that call. Like it's ridiculous. This is a professional league. They should not be messing up like this. Like I just can't believe it. Like to me, like yeah, they messed up, whatever. But like the decisions they made is what like amazes me. Like they had so many options of what to do during this game. With like yeah, whatever they called it a goal, whatever, right? But then you give them a delay of game penalty. Like I don't know, man. Like the NHL needs to do better. I hope like this teaches the NHL a lesson. They can use this as a learning point to make sure none of this stuff happens. Because if this happened to the Leafs, oh my God, can you imagine the backlash?
Yeah, I feel like they need to really review these calls because this is not right. And I like how John Tortorella he talked to the referees instead of yelling at them or like swearing at them. Because as I was reading from NHL discussion, um, the video that they posted, said that John Tortorella opts to allow a league official to explain themselves rather than beat them. So like I like how he addressed it in like a formal manner. He didn't yell or anything. And I feel like yeah, like that, as you said, this could cost them like a potential a potential playoff spot, like if they don't make it to the playoffs. So this is a really big factor, and I feel like the NHL needs to review this stuff ASAP.
Yeah, man, for sure. Well, talking about Columbus, that's not the only news to come out of there, man. Like Columbus has been such a shit show like the last 2 or 3 years. I feel like there's so much news coming out of this team, like going back to like Bobrovsky, Panarin, Tortorella. Now we got Laine there. We got the Smith call. But like Laine got benched apparently for yelling at an assistant coach or something. Like, man, what's going on with this team? Like, they need to learn to keep their stars. We talked about this already when the trade rumors and the trade happened between Dubois and Laine. But like I get it. Tortorella wants his players to, be good on the ice, be respectful of the coaches, this and that. But I guess it is on Laine for yelling at the assistant coach, but we don't know the whole story. We don't know what happened between them two. I hope they can settle this and come to terms with Laine because Laine is a phenomenal player. He can take Columbus to another level. They really need to cater to him. Like the Leafs cater to Matthews. Edmonton should be catering to McDavid. Pittsburgh should be catering to Crosby, which hopefully Burke does now. The same thing that like Columbus should be doing to Laine because there is no other player in the league like Laine. Like yeah, Matthews a better goal scorer, but the way Laine scores is unbelievable and like such a rare talent. Like I just can't believe they benched him. I hope they can fix any issues that come up between assistant coaches or coaches and Laine and move past this. And I don't want to hear more news out of Columbus. I'm getting sick of it to be honest. But I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, with Lina getting benched, I was a bit surprised because it's what his fourth game in Columbus. I felt like why you're in a new team, like just try adapt to the culture. It's partially Lina's fault because there was stories out of Winnipeg saying that he wasn't getting along with his teammates, and this kind of ratified that. Like I mean, ratified that he has some attitude issues, which is why do you have attitude issues? You getting paid for what you're doing to love. Who cares what the assistant coach says? You just bring it out 1 year, get it out the other. Probably the first time he yelled at you. I, like like the assistant coach understand he needs to get his like line straight or like I don't know what assistant the power player PK coach assistant coach said it to him, but he but line needs to do is adapt, like adapt to the culture of what's set in stone in Columbus. It's not Winnipeg anymore where you get what you want because you're second overall pick. It's 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 you're in Columbus now. You gotta adapt to the culture. You can't be yelling at your assistant coach, doing this bad mouthing him. So I kind of like the way that Tortorella benched him. I wasn't for it at first, but then when I'm hearing it and thinking about it, it's kind of Linus' fault. Like why mouth off against the assistant coach, right?
Yeah, I feel like it's a learning experience. I feel like he's still growing as a player. Like you said, he's like Matthew's age. He's like 23. So like I feel like he's like adapting to his new team and like his new coach Tortorella has a different game plan and tactics and assistant coach as well. So I feel like once he's like like more adapted and comfortable with the team, like I guess he'll fit in well. But otherwise than that, like if he doesn't fit well, then he's probably gonna get traded. But obviously, I hope everything works out for him because he's like a generational goal scorer potentially, right? So yeah, I feel like he's still growing and learning.
Yeah, like he should be able to put up 40 goals like at will whenever he wants in the season. But seems like he's had like an unfortunate past couple of years. Like for the game of hockey, I think Laine is really good for the sport, really good for the culture. He's not your typical quiet player either. I like how he's kind of funny in the media. He's a little bit quirky in the media and stuff. I like that. I think the NHL needs more of that. You look at the NBA, how much personality they got. I know there's a lot of people in the hockey community that don't like that. They want hockey players to be like strict, quiet, stay the bare minimum. But in my opinion, I like this youth movement, and I think Laine is a big part of it. So for the sport, I want Laine to succeed. Hopefully he does, man. Like if he gets traded again or he walks in free agency or whatever it is, I just hope the best for him just for the sport. We're starting to run out of time. We still got a couple more topics, so we'll move on. Postponed games, man. It's been unreal how many postponed games there are. One, it's kind of freaking screwing over my fantasy team. I swear to God, I have so many players that are on these postponed teams. Like I might lose this week because of it. I mean, like obviously that's not the main concern here. I just wanted to voice that, but I hope it doesn't get too bad. I hope they can kind of fix this problem. I don't think the season will get canceled, in my opinion. The other sports deals with it. Hockey will deal with it. There's too much at stake to not to cancel the season. As well as like vaccines are going to be coming in more and more rapidly as the year goes on. So I think it's fine. But what do you guys think about these postponed games? I hope it doesn't link into the North Division.
I feel like what you were saying that with they're not gonna be able to complete the season. I think they're not gonna be able to play. I think some teams are not gonna be able to play like 56 games. So what they might do by points percentage. I think Peter Brown was saying that by points percentage, it might be by that. So in case they don't finish the season, it might be by points percentage. So I think they need to start switching up the protocol a bit, being more like strict on them. But I don't know how strict you can get from going from home to the rink or home to games and practices. I don't know how more strict you can get. But what I was reading before the podcast, Elliot Friedman just tweeted it out was that they're asking families of the players to not like go out as much or go out as much and be more strict with themselves as well. So protocols. I mean, so it doesn't spread around the league.
Yeah, Chris Johnston just tweeted out um, a couple more players who have been added to the COVID protocol list today, and it's very unfortunate, because games are being postponed. But also, like, I feel like maybe adding more rules could like benefit it, but I don't know how much that's gonna impact um the situation. But yeah, it's very unfortunate to see games being postponed and teams not being able to play. I think it's 56 games, so yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I just got notification from Sportsline that Jesse Puyo Harvey was facing the COVID-19 protocol list, which is kind of scary because the Leafs play Montreal on Saturday and
Is it Puljujärvi
Edmonton
on
order
Edmonton?
yeah, Edmonton and they're supposed to play Canadian Montreal tonight, so we're not sure what's gonna happen with that game because they already switched it from 7 to 8 o'clock. So hopefully they can get that game going and hopefully they can play tonight.
Man, yeah, like the North Division been so fortunate not to run into too many of these COVID issues. So hopefully it doesn't affect not only the North Division but the whole league. But yeah, we'll see as it goes on. Like in my opinion, I think every team will play all the games. So if the NBA, the NFL, the MLB can do it, the NHL can do it too. Like they'll figure it out. They got lots of time. They can eventually, if they really need to, start making bubbles again. But I'm not too concerned. I think it's just a bump in the road personally. Okay, so next topic. The AHL announced that they're gonna have a 24 game schedule. I think that's really interesting. I love it to be honest, because I thought the AHL was not gonna come back. They don't make enough money to kind of support a full season, so 24 games is so ideal for them. Like they still get to play. They get a lot less games, but these games are gonna be intense. I love it for the Leafs. I love it for the rest of the teams. Like there's gonna be so many players who, if it was not for the AHL coming back, they would have been sitting at home, like taking a year off their career. We could always send like Sandine or some of our younger guys to go play there, get some time, get some reps in, get more ice time. It's good for the sport. What I heard is apparently they're gonna be playing in NHL arenas, which is kind of weird. I don't know how that's gonna work, but I love it. What do you guys think about the AHL coming back?
I like it. It's more to the fact that that these youngsters get to play. So like for example, like Seth Jarvis, who the Carolina Hurricanes drafted, he's been playing in the I think Charter Checkers, and Ryan O'Rourke with the Minnesota Wild, he's been playing with his age at Iowa Wild. So if I feel like it's good for the prospect development that they can play. Even OHL eligible players who can go back, they've been able to stick to the AHL and able to play. Guys like Trevor Liga's been killing it as well. Like they've been doing really well with the AHL. Yeah, it's really good because you don't want these prospects to sit at home and be like, yo, I don't want to play. Like I want to play, but I can't. It's a really good thing because development wise and like them getting on the ice and be able to play competitively. It's a good reason to be happy.
Yeah, I'm just gonna agree with both of your guys' opinions, like both of things, like development and stuff. Yeah, like it's great, like if someone doesn't if a prospect doesn't make the roster, the NHL roster, they can play in the AHL and they can, further progress their development and what they need to work on, and it's great for them. So I feel like it's a good thing that the AHL is back.
My only thing is the AHL's back, so I have two concerns. How is this gonna work with the taxi squad and waivers? Because maybe if like they do bubbles like the NHL did, like they have a pretty much your AHL teams have the same bubbles as your NHL teams, which can maybe allow for waivers and stuff to work, call ups, two-way contracts, all that. But let's say it doesn't. If there is no way to pull up a guy from the Marlies to the Toronto Maple Leafs, my second point is the OHL, the CHL do not seem like they're coming back. Maybe they are, maybe I'm wrong, but as far as I know, I don't think they're coming back. Maybe they'll come back similar to the AHL, but if they don't, I think it's really key for the NHL to come to an agreement with the CHL to allow just this year for their players, for at least some key players, some key prospects to be able to play in the AHL, right? Because these poor kids are going to be missing a lot of development time. I heard some rumors about how they're going to do back-to-back drafts next year, maybe. Kind of weird, but I think that's key if they can allow these OHL kids, these WHL, QMJHL, whatever it is, to play some games. It's a shortened season, anyways. So let's see what they do. Let's see, hopefully, that they allow that because there is a rule where, like, an OHL prospect is allowed to go play in the AHL if their team gets kicked out of the playoffs, right? So maybe using that rule, there's a wraparound where since they aren't playing games, the OHL prospects can go play in the AHL. But we'll see about that.
Yeah, the Marlies actually signed a goalie, a draft eligible goalie to play for them this season. So there's already been a precedent set out that draft eligible players can stand in the AHL and play with teams.
Oh, I just saw what Harmon sent to our group chat that apparently the WHL season will have 24 game season or whatever. So I take back everything. If they are coming back for 24 games, that's great too. But we'll see. Hopefully they come back. Hopefully, seems like we're getting closer and closer to normal in terms of COVID as the months go on. I think the closer we are to a normal life again, not just in hockey, just in everything, the better. All right, guys. For our final topic of conversation, the Olympics. There's been so much talk about the Olympics. It's like less than a year from now, the NHL players will be finally back at the Olympics, which is amazing. It's been so long, man. So long since we've seen these guys play in the Olympics. I'm excited. What do you guys think? Who are some key players that are going to make the Olympics? I mentioned before Tommy Chabot from Ottawa playing with the defensemen. Um, a lot of people are predicting the lineups. I can see at least 4 Leafs guaranteed for sure. 5 Leafs, like Tavares, Marner, Riley, Nylander, Matthews. But what do you guys think about the Olympics? Any surprise picks for certain teams? Any young guys? What do you guys think?
I've got.
How many
I'm
players?
sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Uh,
How many players
I,
are we allowed to predict, like on
I think you
each
got
roster or something?
13. I think a
Let's
14
not go
forward.
through and predict like the obvious ones. Like obviously like McKinnon, McDavid, Crosby are going to make the team. Like, what do you guys
Yeah.
think are some key players, some surprise players for each team? Like, let's go over the major ones like Canada, U.S., Sweden, Finland, Russia. Like, just tell me some surprise picks that might pick. Like, for example, like I said, Thomas Chabot for Ottawa, right? Like, uh, who are some low key underrated players that can make their country's team and make a difference? What do you guys think?
I think Ilya Mikheyev is gonna make Team Russia for sure.
Care to elaborate?
Okay, because like I think Russia doesn't have as much depth. I could be wrong. Um, but like as if he's a big part of the penalty kill for the Leafs, so I'm pretty sure they're making notes, and they're probably gonna want him on the team. So I feel like he is gonna make the roster. Maybe not playing on the starting lineup. Maybe he might be a extra forward, but we shall see. But I think he's gonna make the roster though.
I can see that, man. Like, he's great on the penalty kill and stuff. He's fast. He's speedy. Like, he should have a lot more goals and points this year than he has right now. Like, how many times have we said it, guys? Like, every game it's like, yo, Mikheyev has played great. He should be getting goals. He should be like, how many shorthanded rushes does he have? He looks amazing. Uh, to me, it seems like he's still getting the hang of the NHL. Like, think about that. Like, his first season got cut in half. Then he hasn't played for like almost like over a year since that injury. Okay, well, no, he played in the bubble a little bit, but like besides the bubble, it's been a year since that injury. So he was phenomenal in the KHL. He's looked better and better. He's had so many opportunities. I think he's a great player. I think you're right, Harman. I think he can either be like a taxi squad player or at least like a third or fourth line option for them.
Um, I got Mikko Lennon for Finland, and I also got Carter Hart starting, like main starter as Team Canada goaltender. I don't know if that's
That's
a
a that's
shock,
a
but
that's a burning hot take.
as a burning hot take, Carter Hart being because Carter Hart, I don't think Price is what people are saying Price to be what he was 5 years ago, but Carter Hart's been like he's been Team Canada goalie for the World Juniors for like 3 years, I think, or 2 3 years, and he played really solid in those 2 3 years. He's been a really good goaltender to the NHL. He's struggling to begin this season because it's a short season. Goalie gets their groove midway or like month into the season, so I feel like he could be one of those guys who can really produce for Team Canada. Also, I got Mikko Lehtinen going to Finland. Pretty obvious take here. He's been he's been like KHL defenseman of the year last year. He's been gradually improving with the Leafs. Hopefully, he can maybe improve where he can become a mainstay in the Leafs lineup. But yeah, I got Mikko Lennon and Carter Hart as starting goaltender for Team Canada.
Oh, and I also wanted to mention, I sent you guys a post as well, that Craig Button's projected 2020 Team Canada roster. I got the source from TSN on Instagram. Um, he predicted that John Tavares is not going to make the Canada roster. I feel like he is totally wrong here because John Tavares gives you that veteran presence. I know it's like there's a lot of young players out there who are going to be very good and they're doing good right now, and I feel like he's missing I think two key players maybe Stamkos and Tavares. I feel like they should be on the team because they can still provide you with the offense, the skill, the playmaking ability, and I feel like he's wrong in the sense of just going the straight young like getting like the young core players, but I feel like he's missing Tavares and Stamkos. What do you guys think of this?
Let's be honest. One is Craig Barton, right? Let's be honest here.
I'm dead.
Us, also I got Sean Couturier. That one that's not on it. Sean Couturier making it. He's not on the list. I don't know why. Like what Greg Button thinking that Sean Couturier is not making it. But he's the best two-way forward in the league in my opinion. next to Bergeron and Barkov. He won the Selkie last year. Am I correct? I think he did.
Yeah, he
Um,
won last year.
he won last year. I don't know why he didn't have him on here. The best two-way forward in the league. Makes no sense.
Man, yeah, but like what Harmon said about Tavares, I think I can see why Stamkos won't make it. Like there's injury concerns and stuff like that. Like um, I think Tavares should 100% be on this team. Like whether it's as an extra forward or not, because I know I saw this thing about that they want to make a more balanced roster this time, which if they mean by what they mean by balanced roster is having like a can you imagine a third shutdown line of Ryan O'Reilly, Sean Couturier, and Mark Stone? Can you guys imagine that? Like that's ridiculous, right? Like if that's what they want, then I can see Tavares at least being a scratch, right? In that sense. But I think Tavares needs to be on this roster. They can't go all young players. Like this roster Harmon sent us has Nick Suzuki and Bo Horvat on it. In what world do you take Nick Suzuki and Bo Horvat over John Tavares? Like, get out of here, man.
In
Get out of
Craig
here,
Button world, no, in Craig Button world, you take them. That's who you
bro.
take. In Craig Button world, you
Tavares is
take over
shit.
him.
Tavares just shit on Nick Suzuki last night. Like, come on, Craig Button, smarten the fuck up.
No man, he's so
Yeah,
biased against
that's
the
just
league.
complete
Uh,
nonsense, bro.
Yeah, man, I think he's one of the worst reporters out there, like worst analysts out there. To be honest, he's boggles my mind that TSN still has. Like
Not as bad as Steve
boggles my
Simmons.
mind. No, Steve. Okay, no, he's not on a level of Steve Simmons and Damian Cox. He's just like a lower level lower. I mean, a lower level on the bad skill of takes and what do you want to call it.
Yeah. All right, guys, we should probably start wrapping up.
Yeah, like I was.
Oh yeah,
Wait,
sorry, no,
one
go
more
ahead,
thing I
go.
want to mention.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Yeah, yeah. So like I think I said this to Justin before. I'm like, he had a knee injury when he's playing for Team Canada. I think in the Sochi Olympics. So that like I don't think he got that much playing time on Team Canada. So I think he missed the whole tournament. But like now I think it's time for like his his presence to be known, and I feel like he's way better than Nick Suzuki and Bo Horvat. So I feel like this is his second chance, and he deserves that roster spot and being on at least the third line.
Yeah, I really love that. What I mentioned before. I think there should be a limit to the youth because these some of these old like these youth guys like for example like Barzell, Suzuki like they'll have their shot to make this in the future. This is not the last Olympics that NHL will be in, but like Stamkos and Tavares are not going to get many more opportunities. And as we've seen in the past, like they lean on veterans more for Team Canada, right? Give them the chance, give them the benefit of the doubt. The only veteran I think should not make the lineup is Drew Doughty. He's been complete trash, but that's a different story. Anyways, yeah, like I was saying, we should probably wrap up. We're over an hour already into it. Um, let's just quickly go over our keys to the next few games. We kind of missed out on that. Usually we give that. We got one game against Montreal, then three against Ottawa. I heard that apparently like either Nick Robertson or Thornton should be coming back soon. My key is to keep up what they've been doing. Really focusing on the defensive aspect, especially like Montreal, whatever, right? Like I think we'll be fine, but the key is they need to secure these points against Ottawa next week. Seems like the Leafs in the past and even like these first two games of the season, they play down to Ottawa all the time. I don't know what it is with Ottawa, but I think they need to prove how dominant they are and steamroll Ottawa. At least get 4 to 5 points out of the six, in my opinion. Hyman needs to step it up just like he has been. Hyman has been playing phenomenal. We need our stars to keep playing good. And I love the depth that's been coming. I love our defense. Everybody in the lineup has been committing to the game. So they just need to keep that shit up. What do you guys think? Quickly wrap up your thoughts and your upcoming keys to the next 3 to 4 games.
Okay, I'll go first. I guess. Um, I feel like they need to be doing the exact same thing that they've been doing against the first two Vancouver games. Start on time, be grittier, cause Otto's gonna bring the grit. Austin Watson, Edgar Branson, Josh Brown, all those guys, Brady, Kachuk, they're gonna be in the grip for sure. You need to be ready for that. Also get some depth goal scoring. You need that for sure to show up. Get your superstars, keep them, making them produce as they are. Montreal, it's gonna be a hard, tough game again. You have to be ready for them to come out flying next time, especially guys like Josh Anderson and all those guys. So yeah, just be ready for what's to come, because teams are gonna play you hard, because you're the leading team in the North Division as of now.
Oh yeah, Harmon, what are your
Like as
final?
like
Yeah,
you
so
would
what are your
say,
final closing thoughts? Sorry, go ahead.
like you would say, how Jon Snow, King of the North. The Leafs are the king of the North right now. So I feel like yeah, they need to keep up what they're doing right now, and you guys already mentioned like all the points I was gonna say, so I'm not gonna speak on too much stuff, but I'm just say like the way that they're playing, keeping the penalty kill going and the power play going, and keeping that same grittiness as I always mentioned before, and holding leads, which is the biggest. It's a really big factor after our previous coach left. I don't want to mention his name because I know Jaskin's gonna get a little pissed off there, but yeah, I feel like just holding leads and winning the next games are really crucial. And it's going to be a tough match against Montreal, but then Ottawa should not be as tough. But just keep going the way you're going, and everything else will be good.
All right, well said, Harmon. We'll close off on that. Go Leafs go. We'll see you guys in about a week, give or take, like always. Uh, yeah, see you guys later. Make sure you guys follow us on Twitter, Instagram. Make sure you guys like all our podcasts wherever you listen to it, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, whatever it is. Thanks for listening, guys. Go Leafs go. See you later.